If you clicked on this video, it is very likely that you've exchanged or you've gone out with a man who's been super interested in you. And then for no apparent reason, he suddenly disappears. In this video, we will dive into the true reasons behind this baffling behavior and arm you with strategies to navigate these emotionally challenging waters with grace and deeper understanding. But before we dive deeper, I'd like to extend a heartfelt invitation to you. If you find insights in this video that speak to you, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving this video a thumbs up, and sharing your experiences and thoughts in the comments below. My name is Kimberly Anderson, an internationally recognized dating expert, and my mission is to create and enhance a romantic life with meaningful connections, providing you with a shortcut to a fulfilling dating journey. The phenomenon of ghosting, when someone you're dating suddenly disappears without any explanation, it is a puzzling experience and one that I've navigated personally. It's a situation that can evoke so many emotions. You can go from feeling really confused to feeling disappointed, and you can sometimes really just feel angry. In this video, we're going to talk about how men go from being super engaged to suddenly just disappearing. We're going to talk about 5 specific reasons behind this vanishing act and how you can respond in a way that empowers you. Let's explore these questions together in this video. Now, first of all, the how. Here's how it typically happens. You exchange with this guy online who seems super nice. Your conversation is engaging, and with each text exchange, you seem to learn more and more about each other, and you seem to have a lot in common. The conversation is fun, and your banter is back and forth, and it makes you smile, and you can practically hear each other laugh. Yay, you tell yourself, I finally found someone that resonates with me, and then who likes me. Oh my God, this is awesome. You start to even feel a bit warm and fuzzy all over. He may even ask you out, and you go out on a couple of dates. You seem to connect with each other on many levels. Well, just enough to feel that there's some real potential. And then silence. So what happened? How could this happen when things seem to be going so well, you ask yourself. You then start asking yourself, why? There comes the wave of emotions. Feeling rejected, feeling inadequate, feeling used, feeling deceived, blaming yourself, blaming him. It is so confusing. It can be so confusing and upsetting that it starts to obsess your thoughts. And you're stuck in your head going around and around in circles. After the anger may come sadness, then despair, possibly losing hope entirely about dating or entirely about men. So why is this happening? Is there anyone out there for me, you ask yourself? If this has happened to you and you've experienced a man disappearing on you, please drop a comment below and share what happened and how you dealt with it. Help this community grow. Now let's get into the why. Here are 5 main reasons that men disappear. First, it's an avoidance tactic. Let's face it, it is far easier just to disappear, not say anything, not to have to articulate the situation, not to say one's thoughts or feelings in a transparent way to another person, to articulate and to close the relationship in a civilized, respectful way. There are many people who actually avoid conflict like the plague, and they deeply fear that closing off a relationship, even if it's been short-lived, may be hurtful and not taken well. So they decide, it's best not to say anything at all. Others may lack communication skills, tact, or emotional IQ, so ignoring the situation is viewed as easier or just better than active, open communication. They may think the other person will read between the lines, but unfortunately, there are no lines to read between when it comes to ghosting. You just feel rejected and confused. The intention is often not to hurt the other person, though. This avoidance is just simpler and involves less effort. It's less painful. And there are also those individuals who truly lack empathy, and they don't respect others, and they, may not think twice about disappearing on someone. Unfortunately, they exist. Frankly, you don't want to be with a man like this anyway, so view this as a huge favor that he's actually extending to you and removing you from a more painful future situation. The second reason that men disappear, and this is a big challenge in today's online world, and that is lack of accountability. Because of the online world that we live in, conversations can happen in a vacuum. No one's watching. Who cares? Some people may say. After all, no one will know if I disappear on someone. If the man lacks ethics and values, this is where it comes through. I also want to be really clear though here on this point, ladies. Disappearing on someone is not a male-dominated behavior. According to an article in Forbes Health, men and women are nearly equally to blame with ghosting. 44% of males and 47% of women admit to ghosting somebody. So it's not reasonable to say men this, men that, when it comes to disappearing acts, as women are just as active in this space. I think it's worth mentioning. And this behavior has a knock-on effect, right? Well, he ghosted me, so I'll just ghost this other guy. This ghosting behavior becomes normalized and it amplifies, impacting more and more people in a chain reaction effect. Let's use another example. Have you ever been, driving and someone lets you in to go in front of them in traffic? Or you're standing in line at a store and somebody motions and said, please go ahead. It can be so surprising and kind that we seek to replicate that good behavior with someone else by returning the favor and letting them go in front of us in line. The exact same thing happens with ghosting. When people are ghosted, they tend to replicate the behavior and it becomes somehow acceptable, even though everybody complains about it and nobody likes it. I talk more about the important topic of ghosting in depth in my online masterclass. Feel free to click on the link in the description of this video. The third reason men might disappear, and this one might sting a little bit at first, and that is he's not that into you. Now, when I say it stings at first, I mean that at first it may initially hurt, but ultimately it's best. If you want to be in a relationship with a masculine man, you do not want to be in the driving role of the relationship. If he cannot see your value, if he is not moving towards you, you definitely don't want to be chasing him, trying to convince him to like you and to appreciate you. To learn more on this topic, you can check out my video, Do Not Chase, at the end of this video. So again, if he's not that into you, it has more to do with compatibility. To take the sting out of this and to understand it better, I'd like you to compare the situation with networking and with meeting other women. Think about other women that you've met. Many of them you may have exchanged with over tea, over drinks, at a networking event. You may have met a few times, enjoyed each other's company, and the relationships just kind of fizzled out. It just happens, right? It may be disappointing, but it doesn't sting like it does with a man. But you see, we don't need to view it any differently with a man or a woman. It just doesn't fit, right? You just don't fit together. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you don't have value. It simply means you weren't a good fit together. I know firsthand that there is the theory and there is the practice. And when it comes to romance, our heart is in it. So many hopes and dreams are linked to it. But sister, see it for what it is and don't read a huge amount into it. Focus on yourself. Focus on building yourself from the inside out. When the time is right, the right person who sees your value will cherish you for it. Now, the fourth reason a man may disappear is he simply has other things happening in his life. Now, hang on, you say, why is it that he's on a dating app or wanting to date me if he's not available? Well, the reality of life is that he may be interested in you at the time you first exchange or date, and then life shifts into gear and he can't handle dealing with investing and building in a relationship. Events like family challenges, maybe problems with his children, work challenges, health challenges. This has everything to do with timing and his motivations. I was dating a guy who seemed fully available until his work problems intensified to the point of being laid off, which then became all-encompassing for him. He had problems selling his house with his ex, which was complicated, and both of his parents had health issues threatening their lives. Men are known for being highly focused and pursuing one area of their life. To put it simply, investing in a relationship can take lower priority when other life events happen. So he may disappear. The timing isn't right. It doesn't mean his not explaining this to you is correct or fair or right, but he doesn't have the bandwidth or the headspace to build and invest in a relationship now. The fifth reason men disappear is he has intimacy issues. This is an interesting one, as most people with this issue have no idea that they have it. They basically sabotage relationships as an auto-defense mechanism, or they destroy it before the relationship has any chance of happening. Some individuals fear getting too close to others because it makes them feel vulnerable. They might worry about getting hurt, losing their independence, or being seen as imperfect. They often say that they want a relationship, yet they're serial daters. Women come into their lives and are gone just as quickly. If the woman has the slightest defect, she's out of the picture. I know a man in his mid-40s. He's never been married, and he says, he really wants to have a relationship. And if a woman were to leave, a coffee cup on his coffee table in his living room, he'll say something like, "Oh, I'll never message her back because she's messy." My point is that oftentimes a man disappearing on you has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with his schema or his way of functioning. In conclusion, even though it can be super painful and infuriating when a man ghosts you, I have been there, I get it. Do not despair. There are always solutions available. There are other men out there. First, understanding why men disappear can help you put things into perspective, and understanding many times that it has absolutely nothing to do with you is powerful. You're worthy, you're lovable, keep the focus on you and what you can control, and let go of the rest. Sending you lots of love.